Hello everyone, hello! Today is not a Friday, today is debriefing day from FI races. This time I will be all alone, trying to do that all alone because no one's ready and I don't want to bother anyone to do so. So yeah, I'm gonna make a debriefing of my live event at Salzburg. So today is Wednesday. Actually there is some FI races going on that I won't do because I want to take a break. So yeah, we'll go straight to the first race. We'll go straight to the Red Bull Ring under wet conditions. So Audi, Porsche and Peugeot. That's a good top 3. We've qualified P7. That's actually Jomas who made the qualifying because he had like that extra 10th over us on qualifying pace in under wet conditions. So he made the qualifying. We start P7, just one position off the top 6 for the Super Bowl, but that will not matter because even if you were in the top 6, we will have most likely stayed 6th. It was just some more airtime, but yeah, it doesn't change anything. So we are starting P6 and I will try to make, well, I wanted to make this debriefing as a one take, but I won't be able to because I just don't have the montage already, so I'm just making it like step by step. So there goes the start. Nothing much to add right now. We will lose a position over Aston Martin, who has like a very good braking point over the outside. Ken must say that he was a tiny bit cautious at the start. Obviously, with the cold tires under wet conditions, it's very easy to mess up. So yeah, we told him that if he loses 2 positions at the start, it's not a big deal. It's better that than actually spin or having issues with someone else. So yeah, we are actually P9 because BMW overtook us, and so that's the 2 positions I just said. And there is the replay of what happened. Oh wait, the replay in a few seconds. We have like Lewis Bentley on the screen right now. But yeah, the replay will just come in a few seconds. And basically what happened is that Jomas just missing the braking point. He just braked too late. And well, he braked too late on lap 2 as well, a bit. There's no replay for lap 1 sadly. But yeah, he just missed a bit the braking point, and yeah, we've lost another positions. So we started P7, we are P10. We just say in the radio, calm down, it's all fine, don't you worry. And yeah, just so he doesn't make like mistakes and having like trying to enjoy still the race. So we're on lap 4. We were stuck in behind everyone, behind the train. So what we said is we are calling him to the box to make like the original strat was pitting on lap 5, pitting on lap 10. So we just pit right now. I'm taking the wheel, so we are out of dirt here, which affects a lot the Jaguar for some reasons. Even though we are very slow, it affects the brakings most likely the most part, and we have to brake so much earlier to actually make the corner. So here I am behind the wheel. I wasn't very confident because yeah, I don't know, for under the rain I don't feel that I don't have it. It didn't click. So my whole purpose was actually to have a good pace, taking every opportunity I could have to overtake someone making positions on track, which will happen on lap 7. If you can just watch closely on the rankings on the left side, I'm behind Lexus, and the gap is closing a lot because he had the bad exit on turn 1, and he went on defending the inside for turn 2, the hairpin. So I just went on the outside, and then I was thinking to have better traction, to have like the optimal one without fearing to fail it, I just put traction control on 1. So I've got like, there will be that mashup between Jaguar and Lexus because we are overtaking 2 by 2, and with the traction control on the outside I overtook Lexus and he couldn't do anything. I was already in front of him before turn 3. So that's a position gained, and that's gave me confidence. That gave me confidence for the wet race. And so starting from that, I began to push a bit more. I kept the traction control to have like that extra safety, even though it might be a tiny bit slower. It's that extra safety that actually makes me more faster, and the lap times were right. Like I was in my good times. So you can see that I am behind the Chevrolet right now, but he got the slipstream from the Aston Martin, so I can't have any advantage whatsoever in the straights. And so yeah, it's just train right now. We can't do anything. Like the cars are just spread by a few tenths. You are too far to make a move. You are too far to actually. If you want to dive, we'll just die at this point. So it's not worth it. So I'm just like trying to get patient, trying to actually. Okay, maybe my time will come a bit later for this car if I can make a move on it. So I'm just patient, just like taking every opportunity if it just comes. And you won't see it sadly on the stream, but the Chevrolet had a bad exit of the left and right turn before the two last corners. So I went on the inside and took the opportunity to overtake him. It was a really sketchy move. Just imagine second to last corner of Red Bull Ring under wet conditions. You are braking late on the rain condition. So he went off track and took a 0.5 penalty because he went off track. But I actually didn't touch him. Or at least I didn't feel I did touch him. Because, I mean, you can have impact you can't feel under the wheel or here. So I've got an investigation on me, obviously, because like it was very close, he went off track, he got a penalty, and I overtook him, so I took advantage of it. But I was confident that we wouldn't have a penalty, so I just kept going. Like, okay, I said on the radio I didn't touch him, because I know the stewards hear the radio, we have it. So it's like in F1 in the end, you just try to send messages to actually influence the decision. It's just political games, but yeah, you have to do it at some point. So it's just, I mean, the World Tour is basically World Championship, so when you are that thing, you have to play with everything, every bit you can have. So no penalties ensued for us, which is pretty good. So I was very confident to not having the penalty, but having the message is comforting. So that's 2 positions gained, and I'm really happy about it. And the next step is Aston Martin, but we are 2.5 seconds behind. Sounds hard to get, to be fair. So on lap 11, it was planned to be 10, but we made 1 extra lap because we weren't in dirty air. The guy in front of me did pit. So like it was the Aston Martin, they did pits. So starting from that, we just made 1 more lap to have free air, trying to be fast and maybe making an overcut, because we did catch him a bit, not that much, but a bit. So maybe trying an overcut if we are lucky, or we won't lose anything by making an extra lap. So yeah, pitting on lap 11, that's Vince, so Hellfire. Some people call him Vinny, I call him Vince for some reason, I like it. So Hellfire takes the wheel from lap 12 to 17. And once again, you won't see it sadly because it's off screen, but just look again at the rankings. So there's a big battle between Aston Martin and Toyota on turn 3 right now, the hairpin downhill. So they lose a lot of time. We've actually gained 1 second over 1 corner, so we are just behind the 2 cars who are too wide. And smartly, Hellfire just took it inside on the first left-hander, tried to overtake the Toyota had a better exit on the outside, but he did brake a bit late on the second left-hander, and you will see that he will overtake the Toyota right now. Right now, I said. Yeah, right now. Without touch anything, just, yeah, taking advantage of the situation to actually overtake the Toyota. So we're back to P8. We are back to P8, but if you see, the BMW still has to pit, so virtually that's P7, where we started. Yeah, we can try to have the Aston Martin, that's the goal. There's only 4 tenths, but it's very hard to get those 4 tenths when the car is a bit... I think the Aston Martin was a tiny bit better, even though it has been nerfed, but I think the nerf did help it, because it had less wheel spin. It's like when I tried at home map 2, it was as fast because we had less wheel spin, just like going back to map 1 whenever the traction comes back, like a fake traction control. So now you can see that Audi wins. I'm very happy for Martin or Tijni. He's really deserved in front of Porsche, Mercedes, Peugeot, Ford, and you can see that between P5 and P6 there is 20 seconds. That's the gap between the top 5 and the other cars here on wet, and it's purely due to how the car behaves on wet. There's nothing you can do. We made the 46.1 in qualifying. Storm was making 46.2 with the Jaguar. So yeah, like it's just the cars. So we actually finished P7 where we started, which is really good. We are very happy about it. So that gives us, I can't remember, 7 points. I'm not sure about this. Maybe 5, 6, I don't know, something. 4 points. But yeah. So that's time for the second race on Spa-Francorchamps. Yeah, baby, Spa-Francorchamps. One of the track I love the most in the world, and a track I'd never driven on GT Sport before this event. So that will be very interesting to see how we do, the strategy, because now we have to use the 3 compounds, and we know that the hearts are very slow. If we sacrifice someone or not, if we actually try to balance the stints, if we try the full on and just see how it goes. Yeah, it's just trying to actually make the best performance. At this moment, before the race, we said, yeah, we will go just full performance because 1 lap on hard was faster. And I don't like it. I mean, it's still a strategy, don't get me wrong, but I don't like the fact that someone who travels from all around the world has to make 1 lap on the final race because it's just faster. So, yep, let's roll with the start. Basically, we're starting P7, and yeah, it's I don't know, just last year it was, you had to make minimum laps per stint, so it makes everything equal, but yeah, so Hellfire just made a sacrifice, and with the condition that we actually give him the payback at Tokyo and Monaco, because yes, I can say it now, I am qualified for Tokyo and I am qualified for Monaco. I received the mail for Tokyo, I already answered it, I'm just waiting the tickets, and that will be the end of it. Just, I got everything. So yeah, I'm going to Tokyo next month for Jaguar again, and Monaco for the World Finals. So yeah, but let's go back to the race. We're P7, we're starting on hards, and you will see that there is a big mayhem with Peugeot, who just clipped the AstroTurf and just spun instantly. So that killed Peugeot, who were on softs, so the race was over at this point for them. Like, they ruined the softs and they're lost. Lexus has been involved in the process, BMW have been involved in the process, and I think Hyundai has been involved as well. Just Chevrolet, which hasn't. So now the only purpose of this first lap is to survive losing the least position, the least time possible by this 1 lap. Hellfire told us that Toyota did try to actually push hard on the I can't remember the car names. So when the Toyota overtook us, it was a bit harsh. But yeah, so they just stayed in front. No penalties from that. Just, I guess, just nothing. Just trying to pass on the first lap with the cold tires, because you have to remember that the tires are so cold on the first corner. It's like the top 16 rolling start. It takes forever to go, and the tires are so cold that you have to brake 20 meters earlier. So yeah, we are P7. Chevrolet tries to catch us because of the mediums. So we are actually holding Chevrolet, who has the mediums, with hard. So that's a big advantage for the entire race right now. Toyota is gone. Toyota is, I think, one of the fastest car here, because it has good acceleration and high downforce at high speed. So I guess it's one of the fastest with the Mercedes, but the Mercedes is good everywhere. The Porsche was decent. The Ford was pretty good. So yeah, so there you can see the Jaguar in the pits on lap 1, just like, going for it. So I'm taking the wheel at this point. I'm just taking the wheel at this point. The strategy, I said that to the French commentators, who thankfully said nothing until we were actually doing it. 1 lap on hards, pitting. Then from lap 2 to lap 8. So 7 laps on mediums and 9 laps on softs. And we knew that 9 laps was just the edge before the soft just dies. So just the 10th lap would have been the too much lap. So we are on a very aggressive strat, and we just like, yeah, we will try. We have nothing to lose by doing so. And you can see that we are only P8, even though we did pit in front of BMW, Lexus, Hyundai and Peugeot, meaning they lose so much time. I was about to say something a bit more harsh, but yeah, so much time in the crash of the first lap that you will see again with the Peugeot. That actually we gained, it's like 4 positions. So yeah, that's good for us. Thankfully, it's a sim racing game, so we're actually not hurt by this. You can see Lewis being like, I'm done, just dead, just, yeah, he's done. And so starting from that, I will have just because you see there's 10 seconds gap between Chevrolet and I. This stint would just be like, I don't want to say boring on my part, but that would just be alone. Like, it's just a stint where you have to make 7 quali laps on mediums and pit. So yeah, let's just go straight into the pit stop. So there we are on the second and last pit stop of the race for us. So I mean, it's a tiny bit before we actually arrive in the pit stop, but yeah. So I've made my full stint. Was pretty happy with my pace. Maybe it could have been a tiny bit better, but yeah, we don't have to forget that we only had about 20 minutes of free practice each driver on this track with the car. So in 20 minutes you have to just get your braking markers and your pace, and the track just clicked for me. It was just okay. That's it. That's how it works. With saving fuel, and compared to my free practice, my pace in the race was as good as free practice when I was not saving fuel. So I was as fast by saving fuel than when I wasn't before. So yeah, the pace was pretty good. We didn't have to refuel we had to refuel for the entire race, but not as much as other cars as well. So we kept a good pace while saving fuel. So we're back to P10, but we've made all our pit stops. Everyone has to pit now, at least once. Porsche still has to pit twice, which is why they're first. And the pit is pretty long because of the refuel. It's I think it was between 10 and 12 seconds loss between when you pit without actual refueling and just taking tires. But the pit stop is so long because it's 3 liters per second and not 6 like in lobbies. But it's just like, it's worth it to save fuel. And you can see now that after everyone did pit, we're actually up to P4, sorry, but virtually P3 because Ford still has to pit, and Mercedes, but Mercedes is so far in front that it won't matter. So yeah, we're actually fighting for a podium place here. But the thing is, everyone did pit after us, and they're on the soft, so they all have fresher tires. And we all know that the Jaguar is not good on tire wear. So in the radio we say to Jomas that he has to be careful on the tires, to move maybe a bit of the brake bias on the rear, and just taking half a lap of extra fuel in case he has to defend or attack. So Jomas was trying to really defend well, and he did. He really did defend well, but it did also cost time for us, but that's not an issue. So yeah, he just ran a bit wide, like, nope, you won't pass here. So yeah, very good defense. You can see that he's like really focusing as much as he can. trying to actually make what Jaguar never made, a podium. The previous results of the Jaguar was actually P6 and P7 from what they told me. So yeah, fighting for a podium spot without the Group 4, because something I didn't say, the Group 4 is actually our fastest car that we don't have. We just don't have it right now. So it's just 2 races of Group 3, which is our slowest car, and that's even better for us. That gives us confidence for the next stages, because we actually, I think, work very well as a team. Snake told me that they are very good teammates and they know how to be a good team, and I can completely relate on that. They are really good as a team. I mean, they're very good as individuals, but just add the team layer on it, just excellent. It's just like, yeah, doing this track, what's your best option, do you have to sacrifice someone, what tires you want to do, what tires you want to take, sorry. But yeah, and right now on their team radio, I just say to Earthfire, who had the radio, it wasn't worth it to defend on the Toyota because it would have passed anyway. It's faster in the straight and faster in the corners. It was just losing time. So right now I was thinking that, okay, just let pass Toyota, they will fight with Porsche. Ford still has to pit, and I was looking at Aston Martin, which was 8 seconds behind with fresher tires. So the more we fought, the more we lose time, and the more that we come back and maybe overtake us at the end, because they will have the tire advantage. So it was more strategic let by. So actually Toyota just tries to fight with Porsche. We are coming back, and if there's like the tiniest issue with one of those, it will just give us some opportunities. So there's a bit of fast forward where Toyota actually catch up to Porsche. But yeah, the Toyota is so fast in the straight compared to Porsche that it's just like having the DRS open. So I can't do anything. So sadly, the fight I wanted didn't happen. But Porsche will most likely retaliate from that, because it's a bit faster in the corner. So all the technical section, it would come back. So yeah, right now we're just waiting and see. We can't do anything else. We can't pit right now. It will be just a nonsense. Aston Martin is still about 6 seconds down, so they did catch us a bit, but not enough to actually overtake us. Ford still has to pit, so we are technically P4. Mercedes is just like up there in front, and there you can see with the dirt here, Porsche just made a mistake, so we're actually coming back very fast on the Porsche. And Hairsfire told at this point, give everything you can, just use all the fuel you need, because I said to take an extra half lap, just in case that kind of thing can happen. So yeah, just use all the fuel, try to overtake and block as much as you can after. That would be just, or maybe only opportunity we'll have on Porsche. So you can see Martin Grady having some struggles, which is P10, trying a 3 pit stop, which didn't work. So Porsche goes for the inside, we go for the outside. We're actually way faster in the straight than the Porsche. We made a move on the outside, but yeah, Porsche just put his elbows out and we can't do anything about it, sadly. And from now on, we knew it was almost game over. The only opportunity we could have will be after Redion in the long straight. And after, if it doesn't pass, just, yeah, let it go. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to bin it right now. So now Ford is pitting, so we're actually gaining a position. Ford won't be that far behind, and yeah. Also, yeah, Kinomos just missed the apex here, so I guess that killed the attempt. That would have been hard anyway, but yeah. Maybe that's where we lose the potential P3, but that's just a tiny mistake over 2 intense races, so it's just it's nothing. It's not that much of a deal. Ford won't be able to catch. They have a penalty after right now. I think they just got that in the radio because of the core tires. Aston is far back, 4 seconds. 4 seconds back, so they won't be able to catch 2 seconds per lap on us. So at this point, we just try to, like, yeah, let's take it on. Bring it up, bring P4. That's the best result of Jaguar so far. So yeah, Mercedes wins. What a surprise. I mean, they had more to lose than to win. Toyota P2 starting from P8, 9 are behind us. So yeah, just shows how good the car was. Porsche P3, and we finished P4. We finished the race in P4, which is just on the edge of, yeah, we could not make a podium. But in the end, with the Jaguar, which is not our strongest car, we're pretty happy about it. We're just 5 seconds off P2, and after some math, we would need P2 to actually get on the podium after in the general standings. So even if we were in P3, that wouldn't have changed anything for us. So yeah, Mercedes, Porsche, Toyota, Jaguar, P4, Aston Martin, Ford, Audi, BMW, Lexus, Peugeot, Chevrolet, and Hyundai. And there is more to come. And by saying more to come, I want to talk about the Pro-Am race, because yes, I was in the Pro-Am race. So I don't have any footage of it. It hasn't been uploaded, whatever. So I'm just taking some very, very, very old footage of my own. So this race was, just for the background, back from late 2017. So pretty much on the first builds of GT Sport, already trying to, while playing with Kenny. So it was just like a late lobby, having fun with people and just playing. But yeah, whatever. So the Pro-Am race. I was surprised that I was in, and I'm thankful to Gran Turismo to actually put me in because I wanted to test it. And I was with a girl, a sim racer, creator, content creator, Maxim MXM. So she's from Netherlands. Speaks English, so it was very cool for talking each other, actually giving advices, like, because that was the whole thing. She didn't play a lot of GT Sport, and so she was there for our practice to actually try to see the breaking points of us, because we had the Jaguar on Spa, so it was just perfect for practice. And I tried to memorize everything, every aspect of what I was doing to actually be able to deliver that to her. And that was something I'm not used to. At least not doing that live without the radio communications. So I really hope I wasn't too bad for this. But yeah, so she had 30 minutes of practice, if I'm not mistaken, they're saying shit. So I'm trying to search my words. So yeah, she had 30 minutes of practice. She was in 2:23s until the last lap, where she was about to make a 2:19. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good. 2:19 is pretty good on hard compounds. So the qualifying session started. We had 20 minutes, and you could do whatever in it. So you can just let the AM driver do the whole thing, or having the pro driver making 1 or 2 laps and actually giving more time for the AM driver. So that's what we did. I just said I will do the 2 first lap, 2 qualifying laps. I will stop the car, and you will take it and make more practice, and I will be in the radio to actually give you some informations. So doing that, we qualified P3 behind Yamanaka. And Tigny, who was both in Toyota and Audi. So starting P3 was pretty cool, but that's when the race happened, and the AM drivers are a bit not cautious, if I can say so. I mean, we saw that in New York already, but first corner we actually went from P3 to P9. So we were just glued into the back of people, like the people were pretty close in lap times, but the issue is that consistency wise, some people are faster in a sector, slow in another, and same thing for another driver. He would be faster in another section and slow in another. So that makes like a lot of differences in corners, where on the overall lap it would be pretty much the same. When you look at corners or sectors, it would be a hell lot different, which is why it was pretty much the chaos. We actually went up to P5 at some point, and then people just like kept braking too late and ramming, etc. So yeah, it was really chaos. Outside of top 3, it was chaos. You can see too Kenny doing whatever he was thinking of. And so she was a bit pissed at the radio, but that's, yeah, because of the race itself. So we went to the pits on lap 3, I was taking the wheel, but when we went to the pits, we actually managed to make it too wide into the pits. And you know that the pit entrance of Spa is really narrow. So I have no clue of how, but they did it, too wide into the pit entrance. So I think we did exit the pits P6, then we went up to P5 or took the Toyota. And yeah, the P3 to P1, I mean P1 was uncatchable. Super GT and Lewis, I mean Super GT is not really an AM driver, he plays the game a lot, so he's actually fast, you know, he's not that far to actually be a competitor, so yeah, it's just, they will win, that's just guaranteed. So P2 and P3. P3 was Kenomos, by the way, so pretty happy for him. And out of that, I actually made some moves, and there were 3 or 4 wide at the bus stop. I was on the outside, so like 3 or 4 wide. I can't tell if it was 3 or 4, but I've been hit from the inside, so I was literally on the braking, and then pushed me on the grass, went sideways, cut the chicane, and I killed Yamanaka and sent him to Narnia. Disney would be proud of it for Wreckfest, but yeah, it's just, I couldn't do anything in the end. I was just like a passenger of the car. I just said sorry to him after the race. He just, yeah, don't worry, it's fine. And yeah, it's just, I could feel that people were less cautious, even for the pro drivers. So we finished P9, I guess, far from our, I mean, we wanted both a podium, but well, sadly we just finished P9. Considering the race, I guess it was just we couldn't do anything about it. It's just how it was. So yeah, but yeah, more than the race, actually being able to meet her, and that's really cool. She's a really cool person. Outside the racing, she also talked a lot with Super GT because they are both content creator. So yeah, but yeah, that's very cool. That's a good experience because that's different from what I'm used to. And yeah, I would gladly to do it again at Tokyo if there is a Pro-Am race again. Because yeah, I think it's just fun. It's a different experience. It's you have to actually see people who are not playing a lot like the game like us, or searching the last 10th like us, who are a bit like, yeah, not that they don't have the same ability on the game because they don't play it as often as us. So yeah, it's very cool and very nice to actually do that. And yeah, I hope to be in it again, and just in case I'm having the same teammates, I hope we get the podium this time. So yeah, that will be the end of my debriefing. I hope it wasn't too boring. I tried to make it like it was a live stream, but yeah, you know that I can't live stream. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you will like the video, subscribe, whatever, like just usual stuff. Or if you don't like it, dislike it. Just your own mind. And yeah, see you next time. For I don't know what, because I'm not doing FIA, so I don't know what to film right now. Maybe something. But yeah, bye.